Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course. This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Yes, it is Wednesday, and that means Brad Bedell is here as we continue to inch closer to the Oregon game on Saturday. My name is BJ Rains. We are in the Western Collective Studios. Hope you had fun at that watch party on Saturday, and hoping a big crowd makes plans on Saturday out at Bar National there inside House of Western proper, downtown Boise. Looking forward to that 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, and they got $3 Horseshoe Golden Ales, a lot of great options for food and beverages, and 10% of all proceeds goes to the Horseshoe Collective there on Saturday night. So if you're looking for a spot to watch the game, they've already got Peacock installed. They're ready to go. I guess no promises, Brad, with what happened with the ESPNU broadcast in the first quarter, but they shouldn't have any issues for this one, and we're looking forward to the Oregon game on Saturday. Brad, how we doing?
Good. Good morning, and another week, and let's roll.
Yeah, I saw the picture from Rid last night. You guys had a nice little setup out there in your driveway to watch some football on over the weekend, and you had a nice eye on the Boise State game, some of the other games as well. It was just fun to have football back over the weekend.
It is. It's always good, and we do a little thing with our neighbors here and set up, 5, 6 TVs and start grilling in the morning, and people through the neighborhood come and swing by, and it's fun. It's a great time of the year, and yeah, Boise State game, and I'd hate to be in a staff meeting after that game where somebody goes, "Hey, were you on that one, dickhead?" But hey, it happens, and it's great, especially in the mountain in the west. It starts at 10 a.m. and it's really special when Hawaii's playing at home and you're watching, and we're sitting out there, and it's about midnight, and you got one eye on the game and one eye ready to go to sleep. So
I forgot, man, like college game day. I was over there in Savannah, Georgia. I wake up at 7:30, ready to roll over. I couldn't sleep, and I'm ready to turn on game day. And I'm like, it doesn't start for 90 minutes. I'm like, I forgot on the East Coast. Must just be the worst, the East Coast for sports. Game day doesn't start till 9. The games don't start till noon. And then, as you said,
Monday Night Football doesn't start until 9.
Yeah, I mean, even like these 8:15 games or whatever in Boise are starting at 10:15 on the East. I mean, it's just a long day watching sports over there.
Well,
But it was just,
and that's the hard thing about viewership. And, I mean, Genty had a great game. They're starting the Heisman run and they're starting the campaign. And that's what makes it harder on the West Coast is they play so late. So a lot of those voters are getting the recaps, which is a good thing. I mean, they're watching rips of 77-yard runs and stats. And so, it's just you kind of wish that they would see more West Coast football live. But, TV runs the show these days and money speaks.
Jump in Idaho says, "Speak up, Brad. Can hardly hear you." I don't think that's you. I think that's your Jump in Idaho. That's your volume there. Move your volume up a little bit on your computer or laptop. I think he's fine. But if we're doing the best we can here, not much we can do about it. So Melinda Draper says, "I'll be watching the Oregon game at 10 p.m. Eastern." Oh, yeah, she'll be on the East Coast then for that. Let's see. Yeah, someone else said you look good with a line right down the middle of your face from the shadow there.
I'm trying to figure that out. But I figured
by the way, Brad,
I figured the smoke would cut it out. But
they're saying it's your audio, so here's what we'll do. I'll turn my sound down a little bit, so I'm lower, and now everyone else can just jack up the overall volume on their computer, and then we'll hopefully be good right now. Brad, by the way, have you thought about Survivor Week 1 yet? Was talking to Rid last night.
Thought about it.
You gotta, it's almost payday, so to speak. You gotta make the pick here pretty soon. The email's going out this morning. We got till about Friday, I think, or Saturday morning to get the picks in. Week 1 NFL Survivor. I've told folks I'm so gracious that if I win the Survivor, I will comp everybody 1 free year of Bronco Nation News subscription. How nice of me.
That's real big, yeah. As you're right off to the sunset and never to do it again.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be a site to have, but I'll give you I'll give you a free subscription.
This has officially become publicly owned.
Yes.
So now you're what, NPR? So
yes.
We're gonna be paid for it.
I'm looking Seahawks. I mean, Bengals are the big obvious Week 1 favorite, but I'm not sure I want to use them in Week 1. Seahawks, you got maybe the Saints as a small home favorite. Who are some of the other teams I saw people looking at? Not a lot of huge point spreads in Week 1 here, Brad, so it's going to be interesting. And I bought this in the Circuit gift shop while we were down there for about $10, and I can it's a little dry erase thing here, and I can kind of mess around with some games. But looking forward to NFL season kicking off tomorrow night with the Chiefs, and then a full slate on Sunday.
Yep, here we go.
You don't have your pick yet? You don't have your pick yet? Come on.
No, Thursday, Kansas City and the Ravens play. You can't take that because you got to worry about Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yes, you do.
Right?
So you've done a little homework.
That game's out. Friday's out. And so your game's going to happen on Sunday. And so for everybody that's looking at a grease board like that and all that, I'm going to look at the game, see the lines and roll, and then I'll write down who I used. I used the Bengals.
All right. Well, I
didn't say this. I was going to be a genius in this thing.
Well, I mean, I think you want, we'll see. But I would think that we need to put in something where, like, even if it's 1%, if I win, you and Red can get 1%, and if you win, I want 1%. How about that?
That's fair.
A fee for so then we have a little stake in the other person's game or something here. I don't know. All right, totally Brad. Let's look back at briefly. I do want to mostly spin ahead here, but I wanted to get your kind of thoughts from a coach perspective, a coach analysis, the Georgia Southern game. I do have a couple of clips we can show of Ashton Genty and the O-line blocking, but just in general for you, watching that game against Georgia Southern, you can take it offense, defense, whichever way you want. 56-45 road win. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, let's just start offense. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but the running back's really good. O-line played great. The quarterback was extremely efficient. Completed over 70%. That's what you need. They had explosive runs. They had explosive passes. They broke tackles. We can move on. Special teams is good. They gave up a big return. That's just working lanes and things like that. That's easily fixed. I mean, defensively, it wasn't real showy. You got to. Everybody's gonna say this. You got to get off the field on third down. I would agree, 100%. But you also can't have penalties to extend drives. That happened. When we talked at Lithia Ford, I mentioned that you had to limit explosive plays. That didn't happen, right? They had, I believe it was 9. They gave up 9 pass plays at 14 or 15 yards more. You can't do that.
Wow.
And they gave up some explosive runs. Now, some of those things can help. They did get some sacks, But, they really didn't get the quarterback off the spot a whole lot. And what I mean off the spot is you got to get him off of his drop back point. When he hits that plant foot, you need to see he needs to feel some pressure. Get off that, make him run around in the pocket a little bit. That's going to create more sacks. And then I think as they go on and the game plans evolve, they'll start, I'm assuming they'll start mixing up some coverages, show 2, roll to 1, show 1, roll to 2, just to have some confusion. You got to confuse the quarterback. Once you confuse a quarterback through mixing of coverages, he's going to squeeze that ball a little bit. That's going to create more sacks. But you got to get off the field on third down, cut the penalties, especially extended drive penalties, and then you got to limit explosive plays. If you don't eliminate explosive plays, you're going to give up a lot of points. If you don't have a lot of explosive plays in offense, it's hard. These days, it's so hard to drive 75 yards and score a touchdown. It's really hard. And especially the tempo offenses is, if you notice, even back when I was at Baylor with that crew, is the whole goal is to get 1 first down and put your foot on the gas pedal. But you want that 1 first down so your defense gets a little rest. Does that make sense? Because you don't want to go 3 and out, because that's going to eat 30 seconds off the clock. Now all of a sudden your defense is back on. They just we're on the field for 12 plays. They're tired. You can't go 3 and out. And so, especially with, I'm not going to move forward, but an Oregon team that'll press the tempo a little bit, is you got to get off the field and don't let them get that first down and confuse and pressure the quarterback is going to really help. Everybody wants to blame. I mean, you can't. The coverage is the coverage, but if that quarterback's confused, or he's getting pressured, or he's getting just hit constantly, right, then that's going to really limit, the quarterback play. And so I think that's going to be important here moving forward. I did think, and I said this in the pregame, is Georgia Southern was a talented offense. I mean, they threw a lot of points and a lot of passing yards, and they proved that. Now, they did rip off a couple of runs, and that's fine. I mean, they probably got caught in the coverage, or played maybe cover 2, and they handed the ball off. Cover 2 is not a good coverage for run game. Cover 4, yes. Cover 1, yes. Extra man in the box. Cover 3, yes. 1 single safety, load the box a little bit, and so I think once they start doing that, they'll be fine. Everything's fixable. The sun came up the next day. They won the game. And at the end of the day, and where they want to go is it's wins and losses. It's wins and losses when you want to be that one G5 team getting to the playoff. It's wins and losses.
Yeah.
And so, especially with the Mountain West coming up, they'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
I think the big question that a lot of fans have, or concern, I guess, turning into a question, is, hey, the pass defense wasn't great last year, finished outside the top 100. And a lot of people and a lot of talk for the last 8 months was going to be improved. And you went and got Tyler Stockton, the Ball State defensive coordinator, to come in and be the safeties coach and the co-DC. And you're expecting a lot of, go get a couple corners, from the Pac-12, and you're expecting this to be much improved. And then first game right away, it looks like the same problems as last year, giving up 300 plus passing yards. As you said, 12 of 19 on third down. They were 7 for 7 in the red zone. Right. Georgia Southern was. Right. So I guess the concern for fans is, hey, we saw these problems all of last year, and it looks like they didn't go anywhere. So what realistically, if you had 8 months and couldn't really fix it, how much can you fix in 6 days here?
Yeah, you can fix a lot. Because number one, your most improvements game 1 to game 2, right? That's one. Number 2 is new safeties coach, new corners, never been in a game before, never been in a stressful situation before. These are all learning experiences. It's like this. Go back to 2017 when I had that new offensive line. We went into Troy. We didn't run the ball great. Gave up a couple tackles for loss, and it took us to run power in a 4-minute drive really to end the game. And we were supposed to be this real talented team. We didn't run the ball very well that game, things like that. Well, we went on to have a pretty good season, right? So, you just because you get new players, the players are in position to improve, but you've got to go through that first game stuff with them. You just don't know. I mean, the corner gives up a big play, right? Well, how is he going to react? it's different than practice. When he reacts to practice, it's like, okay, you're fine. We got to do this, got to do that. In a game, is he going to go crazy? Is he going to go this? Are we going to have some banter on the sideline? Things like that. You don't know that. Now you know how everybody's going to run game day in the flow of a game. And so I really think that you're going to see dramatic improvement over the next 3 weeks. Now, I mean, you got a tough opponent coming up, right? So I don't judge one game. I don't hit the panic button on one game. If this happens in the next 4 weeks, okay, you got to look at some things. But one game is one game. You can't. It's so important just to be. This is bullshit coach speak. Just to win that game, so you can move on and still have a hunt. Okay, they still have a dog in the hunt. They won the game. Fix what needs to be improved. I think Spencer said it best. There's a lot of improvement that needs to happen, and it will, and you got through a game, a tough road game. So, I think you're going to see improvement over the next 3 weeks. I think you got the players to fit. Now we'll see what happens in the next 3 weeks.
We will get to the offense here in a minute, but I want to stick with the defense just for a couple more minutes. A lot of questions coming in. Sean Anderson says limited push from the interior D-line. Feely has decent get off, but the other three were stoned at the line of scrimmage.
That's it. Hold on, stop there. That's actually a good point right there. We know we have good edge rushers, right? A lot of sacks right there. Well, when I said push him off the point, remember those guards are going to set the depth of the pocket, right? So if you got inside push, the quarterback can't step up to get rid of the ball. That means your edges are now you're looking at more sacks. That's where the sack fumbles happen, where you're coming down, you're swatting the ball down, things like that, where he can't step up and run the edges around the quarterback. That's actually going to be a big thing over the next couple of weeks. That's actually it's a good point.
All right, I'm going to try. I actually have one defensive clip I'm going to try to pull up on my phone while we're talking here. But Chris says he thinks Boise State needs to blitz more. Risk reward, but they need to get some pressure on the QB. Somebody else asked about it too, and not to look ahead to Oregon yet, but just they kind of bring up Oregon. They said our front four couldn't generate any pressure. What does Brad think the front seven needs to do to have a chance against Oregon? Lots of blitzes. So if you're not getting a ton of pressure, and again, I know this is kind of common sense or whatever, but everyone wants to rip on the corners, but sometimes if the corners have all day if the quarterback has all day to sit back there and throw, or you're not getting the pressure, then it makes it look worse, on the job harder for the corners. So you can make the secondary look better by, as you're talking about, doing some things up
pressure
front.
Quarterback.
So yeah. What can you do? And I didn't think the pressure was bad. They had a lot of quick passes. He wasn't just. I didn't think he was just sitting back there all day the whole game. I
think he had 4 sacks. Boise had 3 sacks, right?
It was 4. It was actually 4 sacks, and it should have been 5. There was actually a 5th one, but Boise State accepted a penalty instead. So they actually had 5 sacks, 4 counted.
Caused 4 turnovers, 4 fumbles.
4 fumbles, and I was going to ask you about that too at some point. Kind of what you only get 1 of the 4, and I don't know what. You want to get all 4, but 1 out of 4 just I know it's sometimes which way literally the ball bounces, and that just seemed kind of fluky that you force 4 fumbles and only get 1. The 1 was the strip sack from Andrew Simpson where the ball rolled out of bounds. They still had to punt, so that was just as good as picking it up or whatever. But I guess first the D-line trying to create pressure, and then the help that will take off the secondary.
Right, that'll definitely help. And the other thing, let's go back to the question about pressure is we could say that, hey, we're going to just pressure. Well, you got to pick and choose your times, right? You can't just sit there and what pressures are they bringing? Is it zone behind it or is it man? That's where you have to understand, are you matching, does the secondary or do your corners match the wide receivers? Because when you're playing man, it's feast or famine. It's either a sack or it could be a touchdown. So I think you have to do a great job of man pressure, zone pressure, things like that, where it will help confuse a quarterback. That changes where the pressures are coming from. It changes zone to man. All those things help and confuse the quarterback. If you confuse the quarterback, he's going to squeeze the ball. The pressures will eventually turn into sacks, right? Incompletes, and then you'll get a pick. So those things are going to be important, but you just can't blindly say pressure, because the coverage behind that pressure is more important than the pressure itself. Because if you're just going to play man behind it, they're going to start checking to the sideline. And if they catch you one time, the result could be 70.
Yep. All right, so I have one clip here. This is a running play, actually, Brad. But if you could take a look at this maybe and let us know what you're seeing, what from a coach's perspective, I'm trying to find the right clip here. Is it this one? There we go. This is a running play. It was a this is a 3rd and 8, I think, and they pick up a first down here.
Sure.
I'll get ready to snap the ball here, but anything in particular, I can stop it. But
this is a go-to.
I'll show the whole play first. They end up picking up the first down.
Yeah, you can rewind it. You can rewind it right now. So this is a big thing for us and Mike Bobo. 3rd down, Georgia at home. They walked up their linebackers, right? And it's everybody thinks it's pass all the way, right? Well, they spread out the defense. Okay, you're 3-by-1 right there. Okay, and now they're walking in. They're thinking interior pressure. The whole line is just gapping down. It's GT counter. So therefore, if you see how the middle of the field's open, where the linebackers are, that right there, if you clear that level, you're going to create a one-on-one. I believe that's Tubner that's about to fill. So Tubner has to fill. See how he's getting stuck behind the ref? You can't do that.
Aren't you expecting pass though on 3rd? It looks like a 3rd and 10 right there. Aren't you expecting pass?
Pass or a screen. Absolutely. It's a good call. I mean, this is right here is like, okay, if we get the first down, awesome. If we don't, we're punting it anyway. So let's just run the ball. They've showed pressure quite a bit on 3rd down, and they're playing man behind this. Okay? So therefore, Tubner gets stuck behind the official, right? Well, Tubner needs to get in linebacker depth. If he's linebacker depth, hit play. And then he fell, but now he is in a better position to make that tackle. Tubner's going to make that tackle 10 out of 10 times. Okay,
yeah,
but
he got stuck right there on the ground. Yep.
Yeah, he got stuck behind the official, right? And the official tripped him. That official is never going to move. It's not his job. His job is to stand right there. He's staring at the holding call that's probably happening, which is not a holding call. You shouldn't call holding. Okay. Now he goes in there, he fills it. That's a gain of 4. That's just a miss. That's an unfortunate play by Tubner, and he just lost his feet, and it's a first down.
That was a 3rd and 10, and that was a kind of a problem in this game. I think they had 6 conversions of at least 3rd and 7. I mean, that just can't happen defensively.
No, not on the road, and giving them an opportunity to extend a drive right there. If it's Tubner needs to get away from the official. He needs to fill it. It's a gain of 4. Move on, right? It's just a play that he got stuck behind the official, and if he was pressuring, right? Yeah. Washington did this. The safety he literally hid behind the official, and then he took off on the blitz, causing a pressure. There you didn't see him. Here it's just it's unfortunate that he got stuck behind the official, and then when he went to clear it, he just slipped and fell, and things like that happen. It's not, you move on. Now the question is, I don't know, I can't remember. Did that result in a touchdown that drive?
I don't believe so. I think they end up getting a turnover maybe later in that drive. I'm sure
it
was still pretty light when this video, and the stands are still pretty full. So I think this was still early in the game, and I think I put this on my phone because the ESPNU broadcast still wasn't working. So I think this is when they end up getting a forced fumble, and Tubner ended up getting the recovery actually a couple plays later.
Right. So he comes in, makes play. Right. So that's something right there that it's just unfortunate that Tubner got stuck behind the official. He couldn't fill and get to linebacker depth. He gets to linebacker depth and he doesn't fall. It's a gain of 4, gain of 5. Let's say the kid breaks the tackle, right? It means a gain of 6 now because you got the cavalry coming. They're going to get to the ball.
Yep.
It's an unfortunate thing that happened to Tubner.
And that's the goal, I guess. You try to get, if you're the offense, you're trying to get as many one-on-one matchups in space as you can, right?
Exactly. One-on-one matchups, and especially running backs on safeties. That's just the way it is. You're not going to block a third level as an offensive line unless they're coming down to play a man free and they're asking that safety to get to linebacker depth. Wyoming's known for that. So then the O-line's got to account for him. Here, you're not going to account for him. You're going to block down. You're pulling 2. You get a first down. You don't.
All right, let's switch and talk some offense here in just a second. We got a couple clips to analyze there as well. Our title sponsor, check them out, folks, roepaint.com, roepaint.com, the best in the business. All your painting needs, whether it's the interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings, They can do industrial commercial work as well. So all your painting needs, check out our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union. The Tyson Degenhart Show returns next week during the bye week. Be looking for that. ICCU.com. The best eBranch mobile online banking on the app you'll ever find. You may be happy with your banking experience, but I can promise you, I thought I was happy with it. I made the switch to ICCU, and I couldn't be happier. It's just so easy to use. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but as I said, you never really need to go in there because you can just use the app on your phone for everything, depositing checks and so on, moving money around. So check them out. Make the switch today. Idaho Central Credit Union. Snake River Pool and Spa, thespateam.com. Whether it's a spa, whether it's a pool table for the game room, they can take care of it all. Snake River Pool and Spa, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa, part of the Boise State home team, been around since 1978. Again, check them out. Locations all across the Treasure Valley, the state of Idaho, thespateam.com. Matt Bauscher Real Estate. I knew the numbers said he was number one, but I found out firsthand when we bought and sold our home using Matt Bauscher and his team, Kelly, Cade, Sarah, the whole crew. I was very impressed with the customer service and helping us get top dollar for our house and then helping us get as many credits and things when we were buying as well. Check them out online. Again, no home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. They got 13 locations across the state of Idaho, the surrounding states. ShopRidleys.com. Get more information, find a location near you. And again, download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And Brad mentioned we were over at Lithia, Florida, Boise last week. Enjoyed seeing Jim Sturk and Jamie and the whole crew. Lithia, Florida, Boise. Don't forget, next Friday during the bye week, we're going to be over at Bora High School as part of their event where they're test driving to raise some money for Bora High School. I think it's $20 goes right to Bora High School, and all you have to do is test drive a vehicle, and I think it's free for you. Just come test drive the vehicle, and the donation gets made. So they got 6 NIL deals with student athletes at Boise State, including 4 football players. So return the favor when you're looking to buy that next car or truck. View their full inventory of vehicles online at lithiafordboise.com. And as I said, had a great crew. Not an empty seat in the house over at the National Bar inside House of Western proper there on Idaho Street, downtown Boise. We're doing it again for the Oregon game. We're going to raffle off a $50 gift card to Western Collective. You can cover your tab right there if for someone in attendance. And you show up, you put your name in there, and you're entered in the drawing. We'll draw it at halftime. And again, they'll have the audio of the game on. They'll have all kinds of great food and drink specials, including $3 Horseshoe Golden Ale pints. So make sure you come down and watch the Oregon game and then go party on the town. Brad Bedell after a big win over the Ducks on Saturday night. So if you're looking for a spot to watch the game, maybe you don't have the Peacock app and you don't want to save some money on that, come on down to Idaho Street, downtown Boise, House of Western proper. Looking forward to seeing everybody again on Saturday. We had a great crew for the home opener. All right, let's go to Ashton Jeanty. This was the 77-yard touchdown run that not very many people got to see, Brad, because of the situation we had going on with the ESPNU broadcast. But second play of the game, they give Ashton Jeanty the ball on first down. He actually got stuffed for, I think, a loss of 1, or they might have said no gain. The crowd's fired up. Who are you, Ashton Jeanty? You're getting no gain on your first carry of the season. We got this. And then second carry, he says, look out. Anything pre-snap to diagnose here?
4 down front. Really one linebacker in the box that's going to go to most likely the puller. No, we're good.
Okay.
Shovel over the motion, creating the 2-man box. So that means that's why I said that the one linebacker in the box should go to the puller. Now that the linebackers shift over, that double team between the left guard and the left tackle is going to have to go to that linebacker that's sitting right above the SBC. Okay, hit play. Okay, now they're running a counter scheme. So you got the right guard pulling. He's going to pull to the defensive end. You got your tight end pulling. And the tight end's going to have to eye the linebacker coming, which he's going to be coming on the top, but right there. So it really starts out. The play starts because the left guard and the left tackle kick the ever-living crap out of the 3 techniques. See the movement right there? That movement.
92?
Yeah, you can see him. They're almost bending him over backwards. It's awesome. So now that everybody said that movement between those 2 players right there is what's helping the pulling guard. right? Because what they're trying, the defense too, it's not fit very well. The defensive end has got to wrong arm it. When I mean wrong arm it, he's got to turn his body to have the guard log. And when he logs it, number one's going to play it over the top. Now, the safety here is filling it wrong. He's going to fill, when I say the safety, he's closest to the top of the field, right inside the wide receiver. He's got to be in the box. He's going to, if you look, he's going to fit it outside of the box, and they're going to run right by him because we get to kick out the defensive end, creating the hole. Hit play. Goodbye right now. They're dead in the water. See the safety? Now he's staring inside to Genty. He knows right now, I really just screwed up. He should meet him in the hole. That's the one-on-one we just talked about, right? We're going to create
the guy at the 25-yard line or the guy out here at the 31?
The guy at the 25-yard line. The guy staring right at Genty. He's like, uh-oh, I'm screwed. He has got to fit that because, right, like I said, it was supposed to be logged. The tight end's going to take the linebacker. He has to fill it linebacker depth. It's the exact same that happened to Tubner. Tubner just got stuck behind the official. He fit it wrong. There's your one-on-one. But Genty is so fast, and because he fit it at a poor angle, now you got no shot. Now, the touchdown block is the wide receiver right here on, what is
That's
that?
Like Cam, I believe, with the 34.
The 34-yard line. That is an unbelievable job right there. All he has to do with a running back like Genty is just tie that kid up. And once he ties him up, hit play.
But this guy right now, the safety you said that screwed up, that's trying to make the tackle. I mean, once Genty stiff arms this guy, it's pretty much over,
done.
Right?
It's done. You can't arm tackle him. Wide receiver now on the 35, ties him up. He's going to run right by him. Goodbye.
And 5 was late getting over there as well.
Yeah, he's got a poor angle. So it's one, the double team created the movement to help the pulling guard to kick out the defensive end. The linebacker plays over the top. Tight end does a great job blocking him. Safety misfits it. Touchdown.
What'd you make of the busting out the Heisman pose after the first touchdown of the year?
There's a lot of football to be played.
But I will say that,
hey, you know what? He's having fun. That's energy. I mean, remember, let the kids have fun. Apparently they're not calling any celebrations because Colorado, I'm like, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. But it's, hey, do it, do you. If that's what San Diego State tailback thinks he's really good. He can do him. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's fun. It's let him be him, and if he wants to do that every touchdown, by all means. Especially when you have the amount he had. I mean,
yes,
he had that was like video game numbers.
I was going to say, like, if you're trying, you can say what you want about a group of 5 player and like a 1% chance of ever winning the Heisman. Like, I get it. But if there was ever going to be like the first game you could have to start it out, to have 6 touchdowns and 267 yards and kind of, he's been on every national pregame weekly show. I mean, they're talking about him. Like he couldn't have at least tried to start his Heisman campaign any better than that.
Could you imagine? I mean, it's mental toughness. I mean, everybody's been eyeing him and talking about him for months. And he comes out and he goes, all right, cool. You're talking about me? I love you talking about me. Now watch me. And, I mean, it was like a track meet. If he doesn't, on the big long one, the last one, if he doesn't cramp, he runs for over 300. Because remember that they ran the ball down their throat at the end of the game.
Yep.
He has over 300 yards, but I mean, he had the long one and the game was pretty much wrapped up. So they're like, no, you're good. We're going to give the 17-year-old the carries.
What'd you make, by the way?
The stable's in good shape. The stable's in good shape.
What'd you make, by the way, of the San Diego State running back feeling pretty good about himself?
Good for him.
Did you see that?
Yeah, good for him. I think I'm the best.
For anybody that hasn't seen it, I've got it. Should we play that for him real quick?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
See what Ashton Genty did today? Did you come in understanding and trying to compete with that and understanding that, hey, look, y'all can start talking about me too and put my name in some of those conversations with the things that he did today?
I seen what he did today. I don't think he's the type of back that I am. I think I'm the best back in this conference, and I want to make that known.
I'm the best back in this conference. I wanted to make this known.
Hey, I'm not laughing at the young man. If you play, I'm going to give you a little heads up. I want you to play it again. After he says that, I want you to hear whoever was doing the podcast. He goes, watch, replay it. It's hilarious.
No, did you see what Ashton Genty did today? Did you come in understanding and trying to compete with that and understanding that, hey, look, y'all can start talking about me too and put my name in some of those conversations with the things that he did today?
I seen what he did today. I don't think he's the type of back that I am. I think I'm the best back in this conference, and I want to make that known.
Oh my God! Whoever is doing the analysis does not agree with the young man. Hey, I love it. I love it. I mean, why wouldn't you think you're the best back? Nobody who's going to walk on the football field and say, "Boy, I'm the shittiest guy on this field. I'm really bad, and I don't deserve to be on the field." You need confidence to play the game, and if that young man feels he's the best back in the Mountain West, guess what? Well, you got to come to town, and
November 1st,
we're going to have to face each other, and so we'll see what happens over time. And I appreciate his confidence. I appreciate the fact that he thinks he's the best back. Do I agree with him? Hell no, I don't agree with him. But I mean, I don't have to agree with everybody, but he's not the best back in the Mountain West Conference. He's maybe number 2. Congratulations, but that's still number 2. In my opinion, number 2 is the first loser. So
I don't think he's the type of back that I am. I think I'm the best back in this conference, and I want to make that known.
I think that's classic.
All right. Well, again, he rushed
a good back.
He rushed for 223 yards on 27 carries. They were playing Texas A&M Commerce, but it is what it is. All right, a couple more clips. This is kind of a fun one here. This is a goal line play for Boise State. They're in their Clydesdale package, and they tried to get Herbert Gums a touchdown. The defensive tackle, 300 pounds. He's at fullback right there, Brad. And somebody in the press box goes, why would they run that play on second down? Well, because you're at the 1 yard line, you have Ashton Genty for 3rd and 4th down to try to run it in. But what do you make of them trying to get the big fella the ball here? And was it just a bad throw, or what'd you see on this play right here?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Maddox's reaction, he kind of knew he overthrew it a little bit, but I love a fat man. I love a fat man touchdown. I love it. I also like the play call because everybody in the stadium, who do they think's the ball's going to?
Genty.
Okay. The kid, the young man who's covering Gums' man does a great job. You just got to put the ball right on the big boy. I mean, he's a defensive lineman. Yeah, you just got to put it on him. And Maddox knew his reaction says it all. But I love the play call. I mean, I think this is what's good. But if you really hit play and if you could squeeze the ball a little bit, if you look at over the A right there, they're going to have the back line open up. So
now, I see what you're saying. Oh, the other offensive lineman, Braxton Feely right there, number 90, I think. Yeah. So he had two options.
He's going to become wide open because the safety lost him. See that? He's in front of the official right there.
And is part of this, Brad, like, hey, like, maybe it might work, it might not, but now, like, every team, Oregon, moving forward, when we get to the goal line, has to also account for possibly this play, and then that makes it maybe a little easier for Genty.
Yeah, it makes him. Yeah, number one, number two, it makes those guys. Anybody's playing, you guys. This play alone, you have to be disciplined with your eyes. If you're playing man, you've got to have eyes on your man. That young man did a nice job. He's covering him man. But if you're playing man and you're staring at him, that means you've got to secure the run game, make sure it's a run, and then hand the ball off. He'll run right by him.
All right, the very next play, then, Brad, as I said, you feel like, okay, it didn't work on second down. Oh, well, you got Ashton Genty on third down. So they line up in the exact same formation, Clydesdale package here with Herbert Gums again at fullback, and then this time they just give it to Genty on this one.
Yeah, and you walk in. I mean, it's just great double teams and great job by the puller, canceling all penetration and touchdown. That's the other thing is, if you look at that play right there, and you don't need to replay it, is in the goal line situation, you're going to have a one-on-one. he beats the one-on-one. I mean, the one-on-one met him about at the goal line. Right there. There's your one-on-one. You see the helmet right above number 90? I don't know who that is. Number 90. Yep. There's your one-on-one. He's trying to make the tackle. Good luck to you, buddy. And eventually these kids are just going to turn it down.
Now, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say on this, but somebody did ask last night on the Riley and Ridge show, what's a better way to win a game, a goal line stand or punching it in from the one? I know what the O-line coach is going to say.
Punch it in from the one. But because you have the ball in your hands, you're making the decision to win the game, right? I'd rather be a part of that than sitting on the sideline with your butt puckered, thinking, "God, please stop him."
All right, so this is his 5th touchdown of the game, Brad. This is later in the game. They get down near the goal line again, and they've got a little different formation. What are you seeing here? There's another receiver out to the left that we missed. I'll rewind the clip.
I know. Overload. Everybody's to the field. You break them over right there. Now that's creating 2 over there. You've actually created an extra gap because that safety never moved. So you got your linebacker in front of the official. You got your middle linebacker. Now you got that safety. See how that safety didn't move? He needs to move. He needs to be probably above the S. So when they go over,
he's pointing to somebody else, but yeah, he didn't really move.
Yep. He moved. He actually tucks in. Once he tucks in, moves out. Now he's too far out wide. It's going to create probably an angle for a block, and it's going to be a touchdown.
And this is kind of the Boise State offense, where you look, okay, so they go out there. Now here's one shift. Both tight ends come back the other way. Genty switches sides. And then you get the other tight end to come across as well as a secondary movement. And that gives you, 3 tight ends over there on the right side bunched up, and then Genty right there on the left of the quarterback.
Yep. I think a lot of people, that safety wanted no part of it. He's unblocked. He wanted no part of it. Look at him. He's just hopping. Look at him. He's like, oh, touchdown. Cool. It's just, you're seeing a lot of teams do this right now in the goal line. They're actually getting big again because the speed teams, like if you watch the LSU Florida State game, they had a 4th and 1 where they tried to hurry up in tempo and hand the ball off. Those ships have sailed. Defenses are ready for it now. And you do that stuff on the goal line. I even saw TCU get big on the goal line. That's Kendall Briles doesn't do that a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I think everybody's so used to this tempo thing. They got one check. We're going to go play, and D-line cause penetration, and because that's going to create some confusion with the O-line because they're trying to get the ball snapped so much, you have tackle for losses. And that's what happened in a huge one on 4th and 1 for LSU versus Florida State.
Cool J says, why don't they just run to the corner of the end zone instead of up the middle? Genty can outrun anyone.
Well, he can, but when you are spread out and your safeties are out wider like we saw, why have a foot race when you can just pound it in? And you love your matchup O-line to D-line.
Josh says he's surprised Maddox Madsen didn't run the ball. Do you think that's part of the game plan against Oregon? A little more QB run?
Could be. I don't to play with 11. It could be. I don't know. I'm not game planning with him, but you got to think about this now. For everybody that thinks that, we're just talking about a young man who's just rushed for 200 and something yards and 6 TDs. Every time the quarterback rushes the ball, it takes the ball out of his hands. In a run game, in a run play. Now, if you could create an extra gap and play with 11, great. But his 4 could be a Genty 10. So you got to see what the defense is going to give you before you could say we're just going to run the quarterback.
People are loving the film breakdown here. Dune says needs to be a weekly thing, which I think it will be. Joshua says, love watching Brad break down the whole game on a smart board. Can we start a fund to get him a whole setup? So we maybe get you a green screen or some sort of telestrator thing like Kirk Herbstreit here moving forward.
It would be like John Madden. Boom, bam, bam, hit it.
Yeah, we got to get Brad a tablet, somebody said, so he can highlight players on these breakdowns. Let's see. A lot of these people are liking these. This is awesome. Thanks, Brad. We need more Bedell breakdowns. I like it. Bedell breakdowns. We'll have to get a little. Maybe we can sponsor it, Brad.
Did the same thing when I was the O-line coach too.
It's a little easier. Those were touchdowns, so that's fine. But it's a little easier to break down plays like that. When you're in the chair you are right now.
I love it. I don't have a pit in my stomach.
In the final couple of minutes we have here, Brad, just turning this ahead to Oregon. Just
Yeah.
with what you saw from the offense, what you saw from the defense, and again, as I said, the biggest concern I think people have with the defense is, hey, you had 8 months to fix it and couldn't. How is it going to get fixed in 6 days? And I think, to some extent, that's a fair concern. But what do you make of? I know Idaho. I don't know if you watched the game or at least saw the stats. I mean, Oregon had much more the offense moved the ball a lot more than the 24 points would show. They just kind of stubbed their toe in the red zone a couple times and had some issues. I also think like you're not going to have Oregon, I don't know if it's a real thing, like a wake-up call, whatever, but you wouldn't expect Oregon to only score 24 points again in the second game. Maybe Boise State's defense makes huge improvements, but I guess what do you take anything of how that game against Idaho went in terms of how they come out into this game? And we'll start with Boise State's defense. Just how do they slow down Gabriel? I know in the UCF game a couple years ago, Spencer Danielson was the DC when they played Gabriel at UCF, and they did pretty good on him for 3 quarters, and then he kind of went wild in the fourth quarter, and they came back and won. But overall, the speedsters they have at receiver and just who Oregon has with Gabriel and Boise State's defense, obviously not coming in with a ton of momentum right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody wants to see the score of that game. God, Gabriel was 41 of 48 or something?
Something like that, yep.
It's ridiculous. He's a good football player. He was really good at Oklahoma, and now he's at Oregon. I went and saw him actually when I was out. I went and saw him scrimmage at Oklahoma. I went to a practice, and then I went to watch him scrimmage. At Oklahoma in a practice, he was 100% completion rate. I mean, he puts the ball in spots that an NFL guy shouldn't. He does. He doesn't have a huge arm. I don't think he's got a cannon, by no means. So the thing I think the defense, and we talked about this earlier, if you're going to pressure, mix up coverages, things like that, confuse him, give him different pre-snap reads. Okay, hey, we think they're playing 1, we're going to roll to 2. Those types of things can really help in that regard. Now, I haven't watched enough Oregon where, I mean, I'm assuming they're fast at wide receiver. You have to assume that, right? So who's their number 1? It is their number 1 need to be double teamed. So there's going to be a lot of that going on through the game plan of, okay, we have to take 1 away. Okay, so if we could take 1 away, we can worry about everybody else. So I think mix and match coverage is going to help. I think pressure, but opportunistic pressure, not just a blind, we're going to pressure every play. He can carve you up. But I honestly think, and I just feel that I think you're going to see improvement. I think they're going to compete. I think one thing that will also help a lot in game 2 is tackling, because the way these rules are right now, you're so limited on how you can tackle in fall camp. You can't tackle that much. Hence why that's why they had 4 caused fumbles versus Georgia Southern.
I actually thought their tackling was okay in that game.
I did. So so tackling needs to continue to get better, but you got to tackle. They're going to put you in space, so you got to have some open field tackles versus Oregon, and that's dangerous. That's scary to me. But I think mix and match coverage, and 2, getting pressure, hit him. You got to hit the quarterback. If you hit the quarterback, we're going to be in great shape. If he could sit back there and have a hot one and just place it where he wants to place it, that's not good at all.
Hey, I want to thank Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out if you're looking for a job. TacoBellWorks.com. They have great promotional opportunities, free food while you work, half your wages after your shift, the next day after your shift, and great food to boot. So if you're looking for a meal, head on out to Taco Bell. If you need a job, you can check them out as well at TacoBellWorks.com. Speaking of jobs, Transportation Compliance Service, signing up 50-plus accounts a day to get into the trucking industry. So TranscomService.com, all the overweight permits and paperwork you need to get out there on the open road, they can help you do it in no time. So if you're looking for a new career change, think about the trucking industry. Transportation Compliance Service, TranscomService.com. Unfortunately, Brad, no Ahmed Hassanin sack in game 1, so no 91-cent coffee this week. Maybe next Monday. That's the goal. Ahmed Hassanin gets a sack. You get a 91-cent coffee or fountain drink at Jackson's, and the same with Breezy Dubar. He wasn't able to get out there. Sounds like he's going to be a bigger part of the offense moving forward. The coaches confirmed Monday he's been out with an injury, banged up. So get him back, and if he gets a touchdown, on a Tuesday, you get the Breezy Bundle for $1, a hot dog and a fountain drink. And as a reminder from Jackson's, 25 cents from every hot dog sold does go directly to the Horseshoe Collective in the Treasure Valley location. So even you can still go support the Horseshoe Collective in Jackson's by buying a hot dog there next time you stop by a local Jackson's location. And speaking of great deals, how about Lean Feast? LeanFeastMeridian.com. Check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Great healthy meal options. Any diet, any kind of food you're looking for, they can help you out, and they can deliver right to your front door. So no excuse to not eat healthy. Again, check them out. The website's wrong there. I need to update this graphic. LeanFeastMeridian.com. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Our friends over at Lean Feast. Okay, now as our final thing, we talked defense. Now I want to talk offense. And by the way, somebody says Bedell would love this goal line package. He wants 10 O linemen and a direct snap to Genty.
Dude, that'd be sweet. But put them in eligible numbers, right? That's what's important.
What? Okay.
Because if you just put an offensive line number out there, that means you can load the box, can't throw the ball. So if you put them all in eligible numbers, you still have to play man and honor it, right? And then next thing you know, you're going to give a fat man touchdown, which everybody wants to slate a fat man touchdown.
Which could be Genty throwing a touchdown. That would be
that'd be epic. How cool would that be? 6 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown.
Okay, offensively, I put the question in the YouTube chat here. Let's see what the responses are so far. But I had over-under at 150 yards. I just kind of made up a number, 150 for Ashton Genty. 70% of our votes are saying over. 30% are saying under. But, I mean, there's just so much hype and talk now, as we talked about, Brad, on Ashton Genty. A disappointment. I mean, he may rush for 120 yards, and people are going to say it's a subpar game now for him. Like, what the expectations for Ashton Genty and moving forward, what we should expect from him in terms of like an average game, but also like I can't remember the last time I've been this excited to see like one kind of individual matchup, like Ashton Genty against this Oregon defense, a chance to back up what he did last week. Like, this is going to be a lot of national eyes now knowing who he is. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch on Saturday.
Sure, it's Georgia Southern trying to stop him too, because he is national. I mean, he's arguably one of the best backs in the country. So he's not going to hide. I mean, everybody's going to have to game plan around him, right? So I'm Oregon. I'm their DC. I'm going to make you one-dimensional, right? So do I like the matchups at corner? Now, the Genty's best friend right now is the wide receiver room, because now they're showing they can run behind you. We're big, we're long, we can make plays. So now, are you going to load the box? Are you going to give us that opportunity? I would load the box and make the passing game win the game. Make them one-dimensional. It's just, I think that's what you're going to see all year, to be quite honest with you. And then Genty's going to have to prove I can win the one-on-one. And he's proven it, but on a stage like at Oregon, I think he can. I think he is an extraordinarily great player. I would agree with a lot of people. I think he is one of the top running backs in the nation. Now, O-line's got to play great again. That's goes without saying. Oregon is a long team. And I was telling you this before we got on. I mean, if you really look at their starting 4. This is according to their roster. Now, the roster at Boise State had Kakani at 6'2". Kakani's 5'11". So let's just get that out there. So their starting defensive end is Jordan Birch. He's 6'6", 295. The D tackle's 6'5", 310. The nose is 6'1", 340. And the edge is Mateo. He's 6'5", 270. Now, he is 6'5". I know that. I played with his dad at junior college. He's a legitimate 6'5". So that matchup, you got to create the double teams. That's going to be important. You got to get some movement up front. That's going to be improved, or it has to happen. Sorry. And then your perimeter blocking's got to be great. But in my opinion, if Genty runs for 150, that's a great game. Great game. I think 120 is a great game. If he runs for 200, I think Boise State wins. I mean, it's just that's what it's going to be. They're going to ride it on him. He's going to get his carries, right? I think if his average per carry is hovering on 4.5 to 5 point yards a carry, man, they got something cooking. It's going to be a great game. If they shut down the run game or if they jump on them ahead early, it can be a tough one.
So if you're Oregon and you saw what Genty just did, what Sire Gaines just did, 371 rushing yards for the team, and what is the Oregon game plan? I mean, are they stacking the box and already making Madsen beat them? Are they going to just try to play this and see if they're good enough to play it normal? What do you think the Oregon game plan is going to be coming into this one?
I think you mix and matches. You take your last week's game, and I think you take your last three. I know Coach Lanning at Georgia, they've got that whole last season with Dirk. They're anything with Coach Plow, and nothing wrong with Coach Plow. That's out. They don't need to worry about that stuff.
Or Bush Hamden last year.
Or Bush Hamden. Take all that stuff and then they'll go as far back as with Dirk Cutter. Okay. And Coach Lanning, that's a big SEC thing. And so then you're going to track it. What is the percentage of run to pass on rundowns? A rundown is 1st and 10, 2nd and 6 or less. What are the percentages? If they hand the ball off over 60% of the times, you're going to get a box, and they're going to play you man free. So move the pocket, get them off of you, catch them, break some tendencies. Things like that will help the offense. And then third down, you got to stay on the field. As Boise State offense has to be great in third down to stay on the field. If they're staying on the field and he's rushing for 200, I think you're going to be real happy coming out of Autzen Stadium. And then these kids haven't played at this stadium.
No.
I know Potter has. Matt Miller has. I'm trying to think who else on that staff. I think that's about it.
I'm sure when Miller got those 08. I don't know if he'd have been.
That place is extraordinarily loud. So they got to have to handle the silent snap count well. Okay, and I know they're practicing it. That was a big. You guys were there. It was tweeted out.
Crowd noise and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it help? Yeah, it helps. But I remember when I was there on a recruiting trip when they were playing Washington, and I was there. I was on the sideline. I was like, I've never even heard anything louder than this. I haven't heard anything louder since.
Wow.
And so it's a loud stadium. Handle the atmosphere. Okay. Handle early adversity. If they, let's say they jump out and it's 14-0. Handle adversity. It's next series, 14-7. Get a turnover, 14-14.
Yep.
Right. So I think you got to handle early adversity well, and you got to stay on the field as an offense. You got to get off the field as a defense. And the other thing is, and I want to control your emotions early. Don't get so geeked up you hit somebody late, or there's a personal. Don't get behind the chains on offense, and don't give them a freebie on defense. So handle your emotions, because the emotions are going to run high. I mean, you're looking at 8 o'clock kick in Autzen Stadium. Those fans get to start drinking at 10 a.m., and it is going to be rowdy.
And if you're a Boise State player, you're sitting around all day in the hotel trying to kill time.
Oh, I used to love that. So, but it's just.
Did you when you were ever play at 11 a.m. and just go? I mean, doesn't it stink sitting around all day, or were you being facetious there?
No, I actually didn't mind waiting around. I actually took a nap, and you get to kind of do a final prep and things like that. I never had a problem playing night games. No, I mean, as a coach, you want to play at 11 because you don't like the nerves because you can't control it. As a player, I'd play late. Well,
don't forget, if Breezy Dubar can get back too, I mean, if Breezy Dubar is now your third string running back, I mean, that was a guy they have huge high hopes for and is a very talented player, one of the maybe the fastest player on the team. I mean, that's quite the three-headed monster. I'm just waiting until we get some – I mean, it's coming at some point, Brad, where we get some formations and packages with multiple running backs out there together.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. I mean, you got to fake, that, and you got to hit some chunk plays. I mean, that's going to be important. You got to hit some explosives just to field position. And then the other thing, like everything else, is your special teams. Is when the punt team's got to flip the field, they got to flip the field. You got to make field goals. Any points in this game for both teams is going to be huge. And then you got to see what they're doing offensively and how they're going to attack you. And they're going to have to make some adjustments like everybody else because it's second week. So they're gonna bring out something offensively that Boise hasn't seen, vice versa on everything. And so, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's a very challenging game that I think Boise is very capable and up for. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, I don't think Boise State fans or Bronco Nation News fans realize how good they have it here. Last night they got Kent Riddle. This morning they get Brad Bedell, and tonight they get Mike Sanford. Ball Talk, Sanford and Johnny, tonight at 8 p.m. So make sure you come back tonight. Bronco Nation News YouTube channel, Sanford and Johnny, Ball Talk, 8 p.m. tonight on the Bronco Nation News social media channels. Brad, appreciate your time as always. Great stuff, great insight. We're going to see if we can make the film study part a regular thing. That requires me to remember to film some plays up in the press box, but we will try to make the film study happen. And appreciate you coming on. And this is after the week 1 win. It's going to be it's been an exciting week already, and obviously Saturday is going to be a fun game. I mean, I kind of feel like Boise State's playing with house money. Just don't lose 60-0 or whatever. No one's really expecting your 20-point underdogs. No one's expecting you to win the game, but if they can find a way to at least just be competitive and keep it close, I mean, they can still. Losing this game doesn't knock them out of the playoff or anything.
No. I don't think it does either. But I actually love it. I mean, I love a Boise State team coming into an away Power 4 now or whatever as a 20-point underdog. That usually bodes pretty well for Boise. These kids. Trust me, these kids have heard about this game for months, and they weren't looking ahead. I give credit to the staff on that one about taking care of business in Georgia Southern, because it makes the game better 1-0 than 0-1. I mean, they're spending too much time like, oh my God, Boise blew up the first game of the year. Here we go, Oregon, 20-point dogs. Put the ball down and let's kick it off.
Well, Brad, we'll let you go so we can you can get back to your picking your Survivor.
Yeah,
picks.
I got to study.
You got to study your NFL games here. Survivor. We got Circa Millions week 1. Looking forward to next week. Hopefully, we're both still alive in the Survivor contest. It's going to be fun to track that all year long. But Brad, appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks to everybody for checking us out. And again, 8:00 tonight, Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny. And again, appreciate everybody. Been a fun week already, and obviously Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you at the watch party downtown at the Western Collective. But again, thanks to all of our sponsors. Have a great rest of your day. Bronco Nation News live here at BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.